Nier Automata is the fucking hypest shit. It's one of the best games to come out this year, and that's really no surprise. It's a Yoko Taro game that was developed by Platnium, which is basically a match made in heaven. For those not familiar, Yoko Taro is an insane Japanese man who came up with the Drakengard series and Nier. While his games featured mediocre gameplay, they have a devoted cult following because of how good the stories were. Most of the games that Platnium make have some pretty simple stories, but they've also received a cult following for their amazing gameplay. So when both of these things come together, they basically cancel each other out, and you just have an amazing fucking video game that has the best of both worlds. The game is essentially a narrative-driven, open-world, twin-stick shooter bullet hell character action game with RPG elements where you fight robot machines in the year 11,945 AD. It's hype as fuck. I'm going to spoil the entire game, so if you don't want to be spoiled, just go and fucking play the game first. It's one of the best games of the year, and while the story is convoluted as fuck, it can be easily spoiled. There's your warning. The game starts with Yorha units starting an assault on an abandoned weapons factory located on Earth. You play the game as 2B, who's essentially an android with a sexy ass, uses giant fuck-off anime swords to fight the machines. This section of the game acts as a basic tutorial to the game. The combat and the controls are actually pretty basic for a Platnium game, but since everything is extremely fast and fluid, it feels fucking amazing. You basically go through the entire factory and kill a shit ton of machines until you end up fighting the giant Goliath machine that 2B was looking for. 9S eventually comes in and provides support, but he ends up getting hit and lands on top of the Goliath. 2B eventually beats the shit out of the Goliath, but then shit's super fucked, because now there's like 3 more. So they basically take their black boxes so they can just blow themselves up in order to take them all out. Now you'd think that they're dead now, but you have to remember that they're androids. So they basically respawn in some android space station. 9S was able to upload 2B's data to the bunker, so she still has her memories intact, but 9S lost his memory for the entire mission. So now we get a little bit of backstory as to what's going on. In the year 5012 AD, Earth was invaded by aliens that used machine life forms in order to kill humanity, and the surviving humans took refuge on the moon. And then in 5204 AD, humanity launched a counterattack by using an army of androids against the machines. This is basically the goal of Yorha, and 2B and 9S are androids in this war against the machines. So now 2B and 9S have to head to the surface in order to rendezvous with the Resistance, where they eventually have to scout out the desert because there's reports of dangerous machines. So then you kill a shit ton of machines, but then you stumble upon a giant machine orgy and they all come together to give birth to a machine android. Like, what the fuck? And then you end up fighting the machine android, but then shit's super fucked and they just run away. After they resupply, they get another mission to track down missing Yorha units that they've lost contact with. Their signals lead them to this fucking amusement park where the machines are just having fun, they don't really give a shit, which makes no fucking sense because they're machines, they shouldn't have emotions, but they're having emotions for some fucking reason. And also, what the fuck are they doing? Why aren't they fighting the androids? This leads them to a Goliath machine life form who's obsessed with beauty, and they've taken the corpses of Yorha androids in order to turn them into weapons or to make her beautiful. It's not really clear. Everything's going fucking nuts. And then the machine starts to hack into their bodies, but then 9S uses his hacking skills to counter the Goliath's hacking skills, and then he just beat the shit out of it. Once you go outside, a machine thanks them for killing the Goliath machine and brings them over to their peaceful village. Apparently Pascal and his machine village no longer want to fight against the androids, and they're actually helping out the Resistance as well. But then shit gets super fucked because another Goliath class machine is attacking near the city ruins. So they beat the shit out of that machine, but then it fucking self-destructs, and it's revealed that the aliens that invaded Earth have been underground this whole time. So they go underground to look around in the alien facility, but the aliens are already dead. Like, what? Then they run into these sexy motherfuckers who explain that the machines wiped out the aliens that invaded Earth like centuries ago because they became so intelligent that they essentially evolved to a point where they were more advanced than their alien creators. But now they want to seek out humanity because of how advanced they are. So they report this information back to the bunker, and the commander tells them to get more information on Pascal and his peaceful machine village. Now Pascal basically explains why their village is peaceful. After hundreds of years of fighting the androids, they essentially got tired of losing friends, and since the aliens haven't given them any orders, they just didn't care anymore. Apparently there's another machine village disconnected from the machine network that's living inside the forest, so they both go investigate. The machines in the forest attack them right on site in order to protect their king. So you fight like hundreds of waves of machines until they find the king, who's literally just a fucking baby. Like, what the fuck is this this game? Then another Yorha android comes in and assassinates the king, who's apparently an A2 android that's a fugitive of Yorha, so you have a quick boss fight and then she basically gets away. After resupplying at the resistance camp, an enemy asks for some help protecting a carrier in the Pacific Ocean. So everything's going fucking nuts. You have to fight a shit ton of machines and a Goliath flyer, but then a giant ass fucking machine shows up out of nowhere and gotta blow that shit up too. But then shit gets even more fucked, and Pascal comes in to save you, and then 9S gets a giant missile and blows it up, and they all get hit by a giant explosion. So now 9S is missing, and 2B has to track down the missing Yorha androids using a dynamic scanner, which leads 2B to this underground white city or some shit. She runs into the same machine android from before, who basically created the city to get a better understanding of humans, and he decides that humanity thrives off conflict. So in order to get a better understanding of humans, he disconnects himself from the machine network, thus removing his immortality and risking his own life in battle. But then he fucking dies, because he's not immortal anymore. Fucking idiot. So now 2B saves 9S and he gets repairs back at the bunker. Adam controlled half of the machine network, so now 2B has to figure out how this impacted the machines. Apparently more machines are now disconnecting from the machine network and forming their own colony. This machine village turns out to be extremely religious, and they all start killing each other to become gods. So shit is super fucked. All the machines are killing everyone. They're murdering their own kind. They're committing fucking suicide to become gods. Religion even turned the machines fucking retarded. Luckily, 9S was able to hack into some machines from the bunker and is able to help them escape. So then 2B and Pascal get the fuck out of there. But shit's only getting more fucked because now Eve is fucking pissed because his brother is dead. So the machine network goes on a fucking rampage and starts attacking everyone. The machines are eating the androids. Everything's going fucking nuts. Eve's fucking hella shit up. So 9S hacks into the machine network in order to disconnect Eve, and 2B finally kills him. But then 9S gets corrupted when he enters the machine network. So now 2B has to kill 9S in order for his data to not corrupt the data in the bunker. But then, oh wait, everything is fine because 9S left some personal data inside the machine network, so never mind, it's fine. And that's the end of the game, except it's not even over because that's just the first ending. This is another spoiler warning. If you want to play the game, go play the game right now. You might have think I already spoiled most of the game, but this is fucking nothing compared to what's going to happen next. There's your warning again. The game starts over again, but this time you're playing from the perspective of 9S. You start out by disabling the defensive systems of the weapons factory by using his hacking skills. He helps out during the Goliath boss fight, and he uploads 2B's data to the bunker before they both commit suicide. Everything past this part of the game is essentially the same, but you get some new side quests and some minor cutscenes that help flesh out what's going on. After 9S launches the missile into the giant ass machine, he ends up in a recovery program hooked up to the machine network. He finds data that shows that the machines are intimidating human governments and their pursuits in human intelligence. Adam reaches 9S and tells him how machine life forms have evolved to a new form of consciousness, which makes 9S question his own existence. After 2B kills Adam, 9S returns to the bunker to perform a memory core diagnostic, but he has a problem when syncing his data to the bunker. 9S examines the data in the server in order to fix the problem, but he finds out that the Council of Humanity was founded by Project Yorha, which doesn't make any fucking sense. He then has to quickly leave to help out 2B at the abandoned factory since religion turned all the machines fucking retarded. After 2B escapes, 9S talks to the commander about the Council of Humanity and Project Yorha, and the commander reveals that mankind no longer exists. Humanity never actually went to the moon at all. The only thing left on the moon is some data relating to the human genome. In fact, humans were already extinct by the time the aliens attacked. So now 2B and 9S fight Eve. 9S hacks into Eve in order to disconnect him from the machine network and gets corrupted. And it's basically the same fucking ending again, except who the fuck are those girls? What the hell is that shit? You get the same credits again, but it's not even over because halfway through them, you get to control 2B at the bunker, and then you get a preview to a whole different campaign. This game is never going to fucking end! Now that Adam and Eve have been destroyed, humanity has launched an all-out attack against the machines. The machines are getting destroyed, everything's going fucking nuts, but then the machines attack the androids with EMPs. So 9S comes in as backup support, but the EMPs actually created a widespread virus that spread all across all the Yorha androids. Shit's super fucked. All the Yorha androids are attacking 2B and 9S, so they activate their black boxes to take them all out, and they respawn back at the bunker. But it's not even over. The entire bunker has been infected with the virus. 2B and 9S are the only remaining members of Yorha. No. This cannot be the prologue to the game. 2B takes over 9S's controls and sends him to safety, but then 2B gets shot down. Now 2B is infected with the virus, but she wants to keep the virus from spreading, so she travels far away from other potential androids as she's getting corrupted. But then at the very last second, A2 shows up to save 2B. So 2B places her memories into her sword and tells A2 to take care of the future. But now 9S shows up right when A2 decides to finish off 2B, so now 9S is fucking pissed. But it's not even over. A giant white tower erupts from the ground and it's not even over? You didn't even start! The entire game was a 20-hour-long prologue. You didn't even start the fucking game. Oh my god, it's the fucking hype as shit! What the fuck? What? It's now 2 weeks later. 2B is fucking dead. Now you're playing the game as A2, but all she's planning on doing right now is just destroying the machines, and you end up fighting this giant Goliath-class machine in the desert. She ends up getting attacked by an EMP that causes hacking damage, which kind of reveals that 2B's memories are now implanted inside of A2. Apparently 9S was unconscious for about 2 weeks, and he was fixed by Devila and Popola, and since the bunker is destroyed, they're basically the only way for 9S to get repairs. Now 9S is trying to gain access to this giant tower by going to these weird resource recovery units. A2's fuel filter has been fucked up from the previous fight, so she eventually saves Pascal from some machines and gets the spare part from him. She even starts to do some favors for the village, but then shit gets super fucked. The machines just randomly started to murder the other machines. Pascal and the children escape to the abandoned factory, but they're still going after them. Then Pascal takes control of a giant Goliath machine and just beats the shit out of everything. It's the fucking hype as shit. But even after defeating all of the enemies, they return back to the factory to find that all the children have committed suicide. Now 9S is at the next resource recovery unit, where it's revealed that the tower is some kind of launch platform that could be used as a cannon to attack the human server on the moon. It's also revealed that the black boxes used for Yorha type androids are actually created from the cores of the machines, which actually means that androids and machines basically share the same kind of consciousness. Basically 9S is having a giant psychological breakdown because of everything he's learning, and he has to initiate some repairs back at the Resistance camp. 9S eventually gets to the final resource recovery unit, where he runs into his operator from Yorha, but A2 comes in for the final blow and then they get separated again. 9S starts to gain access to the main tower, but then a shit ton of machines start to show up. Then Devila and Popola come in to help 9S, but the tower basically has a closed defensive system. So now Popola basically risks her life to hack through it, and Devila pushes 9S inside the tower. Now the pods discover some data about Devila and Popola. Their line of androids were designed to observe Project Gestalt, which eventually led to the extinction of humanity. Now it wasn't the fault of the Devila and Popola in this game, but it was the fault of another pair of Devila and Popola androids in another city. But after the project failed, the remaining androids basically blamed the entire line of androids for their failure, even though it wasn't really their fault. Instead of dismantling the units, their memories were wiped and they were reprogrammed to generate constant feelings of guilt. Now this whole explanation might make more sense if you played the original Nier, but honestly you're just going down the fucking rabbit hole at this point because it's all just insane fucking bullshit. Now 9S has gained access to the tower and is fighting some more virus infected Yorha units, but then a shit ton of 2B androids show up to fight him. Everything's going fucking nuts. He eventually runs into those red girls from the Route B ending, and 9S is discovers the full plans of Project Yorha. Now A2 is entering the tower, but she ends up getting hacked by the machine network. But then the machine network ends up fighting with itself. If they were able to keep the androids alive, it would create evolutionary pressure to evolve even further. But they also need to destroy the androids because it would be a threat. All that really matters is that the saturated consciousness of the machine network eventually allows A2 to escape. Now shit is getting pretty crazy. 9S is fighting the rest of the machines, A2 is fighting the rest of the machines, and they both finally meet up and finish off the remaining threats. Now, there's no running away. A2 explains that the tower is a giant cannon aimed at the human server on the moon. If they don't stop it, all of humanity's remaining data will be destroyed. 9S is going a bit fucking crazy. He basically explains how their purpose is lost. Humanity is extinct and Yorha only exists to give androids something to fight for. They even created a backdoor to the bunker and programmed it to activate after a certain amount of time. It was created to stop the androids from ever winning the war against the machines, because if they won the war, they would lose the purpose they were created for. The only reason that 2B and 9S were paired together for missions was to stop 9S from discovering the truth. 2B models are actually execution droids that were designed to kill the 9S model whenever they were gaining too much information. After all, 9S models are designed for investigations and gathering intelligence. Now you have the choice of choosing to play as A2 or 9S. Now 9S is kinda going off the fucking rails and is infected with the virus, so I chose A2. After a final boss fight with 9S, A2 hacks into 9S and repairs his logic circuits, and she eventually destroys the tower. That's basically the third ending to the game, but choosing 9S results in a different ending. A2 ends up dying, but 9S is severely injured. It's revealed that the cannon that was designed by the machine network is now an ark that will transport the memories of the machine lifeforms to a new planet. Adam and Eve are inside the ark, and Adam invites 9S to go with them. You can either decide to go onto the ark or stay and die. Either choice you make, the ark will fire off into space, and that's the other ending to the game. No matter what choice you make, you end up unlocking Chapter Select, which basically allows you to go back to any previous part of the game in order to complete any side quests that you missed. If you end up completing both endings using Chapter Select, you'll unlock the true final ending to the game. Once you get to the credits of the other ending, the pods will confirm that all of the black boxes are offline. The final stage of Project Yorha is to delete all the personal data of the androids. The pods are conflicted because they don't want to delete the data of A2, 2B, and 9S. They've come to the realization that they care deeply about the personal data and really hoped that they would have survived. Agreeing that they should survive unlocks the final true ending to the game. The final section of the game has you shooting down every line in the credits, and it's really difficult to do in one life. Every single time you die, you see inspirational messages left by other players, and you're asked if you want to give up. And you have to say no. You've gotten this far, you can't give up. No, this isn't pointless. No, games are not silly little things, and everyone comes together to help you beat the game. It's the fucking hypest shit. Beating the credits leads into the final true ending to the game. The pods were able to salvage the past memories of 2B, 9S, and A2, as well as the parts of each android. Restoring them might simply lead to the same results, but the possibility of a different future also exists. Then the pods address you as the player and gives you the final choice. You can leave a message similar to what other players left you during the final credit sequence, but the only way to leave that message is to delete your own save file, as well as the option to use Chapter Select. So basically, the only reason I was able to see the true final ending to the game was because someone else completely wiped their own save file in order to help me beat the game. That's like the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in a video game. So I have to delete my save file. You have to make a sacrifice to help others. So now the pods slowly delete all of my completed quests, all the items I've ever gotten, all of my upgraded weapons, all of my pod modifications and plugin chips, all of the files I've ever collected in the game, and then it finally deletes every single save file you have. The pods say thank you for playing, and that's it.